Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be about the long range. I like the long range videos. They seem to do well among you guys. You like them, and I like making them as we just discussed about what could happen, what may not happen, and what will happen that we may not see happening. I don't know. It's just basically a fun time. So if you guys would like to join us on this channel, consider subscribing. Check out the other videos. See if you like me. See if you like the fans here or the viewers, and decide for yourself. Of course, if you're a returning fan, liking the video would help. Obviously, you don't have to though. So thank you guys so much. Let's get into the video. So right now we're looking at the European model, and I just want to show you the 500 millibar height anomalies. So these basically show us where the ridges and troughs are occurring. And if you're familiar with weather, you know what a trough is, usually associated with cooler weather, and a ridge is associated with warmer weather. And in the summer, it's associated with usually a heat wave. Now, the same thing goes for winter with a trough. Usually, it's associated with not a heat wave, but a polar vortex-like or just a significant Arctic attack. So, if you recall, this summer has been a lot of ridges. It's been hot, and it's been hot, and wait for it, it's been hot. So, really, right now, the long range looks as if it's going to provide us some relief. Look at this. Right now, we are there's a big storm in southern Canada that blasted through. It's occurring right now, blasting showers across Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Missouri. They actually have some flash flood watches up. I looked at National Weather Service map. I could show you that if I don't run out of time. There's quite a bit of flash flood watches around this area, the Panhandle region area into New Mexico, because of the rain that could be going on there, and it looks as if it will be persistent. But notice that the pattern overall change. We're looking at cooler air, maybe not cooler, but at least at the bare minimum, it's going to be closer. And again, I apologize, that was my chair. But it's going to be at least closer to normal, if not cooler, across a good portion of the Midwest and Northeast. Notice that we have this nice little lobe of cooler air coming through. And at the beginning, a couple days ago, maybe a week ago at this point, it was thought that this would be it, and to go back to a ridge. And you can see that it starts heating back up. But really, with a storm system developing across the middle part of the country, we could be looking at another trough coming through. So this is the European, by the way. This isn't the GFS. So it keeps things relatively chilly across the middle part of the country and the eastern U.S., or at least the chances are higher. You can see right now it's warm across the East Coast and the West. Otherwise, it's going to be cooler. It's going to cool off. The East Coast may see, the actual coastal areas may see a bit of more of that heat, but they will get a couple of cool days, as far as I'm concerned, based on the European model. But, my concern, as far as I'm concerned, I may be wrong. So, but you can see that we look into the Midwest. Really, that's where the center of the cool air is. You can see Northwest will get a couple of breaks as well. But really, for the next, I'll say, week, it'll be pretty toasty, especially across the Southwest, because there, it'll be toasty, and they won't really have a break at all. But even parts of the Southeast may get closer to normal, which is definitely a nice little surprise. Let's look at what the ensembles have to say for the European. Now, ensembles usually are a bit less aggressive, or less aggressive than. Sorry about that. The phone is ringing. I'll be back once it stops. The ensembles usually are a bit less aggressive, as I was saying before the phone interrupted me. And see, the European, if it was showing a snowstorm, I usually don't really look at ensembles for snowstorms or storms in general, as they usually are all over the place, and with just 2 or 3 models, that's enough to put the snow all over the place. So ensembles are really more often looked, at least the European and GFS ones, for like temperature and patterns, more like the climatology side. And you can see that the European ensemble members are actually pretty good agreement with the European. Warmer across the East Coast for now. Cool across the northern U.S. and parts of the south where the rain is. Warmer across the west, but really we start developing these nice cool air masses, and you can see this one by next week could actually be pretty significant, and it develops across much of the Great Lakes into portions of the south and the northeast. Really though, the west stays warm, excluding maybe portions of the northwest where some chill may get in later on. But again, you can see that say this week will just be brutal for the northwest. It will be very hot, so there'll probably be some heat advisories, heat warnings, and maybe some heat wave just heat wave concerns for sure across the Northwest. So let's take a look at the GFS model now and see what it's showing. Let's actually look at the GEFS. So this is from the 12Z Monday model run, as the 18Z hasn't come in yet. But they usually don't change too drastically by model run unless we're going through a drastic change, which at this point doesn't seem to be occurring. At least to me it doesn't seem. Doesn't mean it's not. But you can see that there is, again, warmth across the Northeast, really the cool weathers across the central United States. It does mention that cool air like the European, but there's a bit maybe more warmer air on the sides. It does have that second wave of cooler air, and it keeps things after that pretty warm. But if I were to show you, say, I think it was yesterday's model run, today's model run in the morning, the GFS was just going crazy with the chilly weather. If you were to look at it, 2-meter temperature anomalies, I want to go back to the 6Z. This is sorry, I meant to say the midnight one. The midnight model run was going berserks yesterday at around this time. And we can see it has chilly air. And this is why, the model, sorry about me jumping around these models so much, but this is why modeling is hard with these, predicting these models, because, one forecast model, they're showing a nice, cool blast of air, and they're pretty confident that, yeah, granted, it's very far out, but, then a little bit later, just one model run, 2 model run raters, they're showing more of a heat lake pattern, not even any characteristics sharing, not just a slight change, just a complete turnaround. Now, the latest GFS only goes out to 162 as it's still processing in the latest information, but I'll show you what it has up to 162. You can see cooler air into the Midwest, the Northeast starts cooling off towards midweek. Still pretty warm across the extreme coastal areas, but you can see this nice pattern does develop, and we stay cool across the Midwest. The West does stay warm, and parts of the coastal Southeast and coastal East Coast stay warm. But otherwise, it looks as if it will be a cooler pattern across the Midwest and Upper Plains mainly. Now, if you were to take a look at the 12Z and go past this, you can see has that same characteristic, chilly air going, staying into late next week, but then kind of disappearing and fading away as a little bit of cooler air tries making it into the Northwest, but doesn't get much farther than that as a heat, I guess, takes over that. So you can see there's quite a bit of differentiating, I don't know how to say that word, whatever. There's quite a bit of varying model runs in, and they're both disagreeing, agreeing at times, and it just depends which model run you choose. So at this point, I would say chances for heat across the United States in long range are the West and the East Coast. Cooler chances are across the Midwest and Upper Plains and into the central southern U.S., but otherwise, there could be a lot of change. The cool weather across the Midwest could be a lot cooler than forecasted as of right now, or it could be less cooler than forecasted right now. And by the way, right now it's forecasted to be, I guess, kind of a hit or miss. I guess some days there, some days not. So it really is, I guess, still up for a coin toss, if you will. So again, the Northwest and Southwest seem the warmest, and the Central U.S. seems the coolest. Kind of like this little fall blast coming through. And again, if say the GFS goes back to what it had in a couple model runs ago, you could see that was pretty chilly, and that's a big chill attack right there. But unfortunately, the GEFS ensembles did not agree with that model run at all, really. You can see at that time they're showing a bit of cooler air, but it's really nothing significant compared to what the GFS was showing. I wanted to look at the European model as I showed you its upper temperatures. Now I want to show you the temperatures in the lower atmosphere, or the surface level, really. But you can see that, again, cooler right now a bit, not really too noticeable, but generally especially warm across the Northeast and into the Northwest. You can see up to 20 degrees above average, easy. And then we go into the midweek, we start seeing, very, very gradual cool off. I mean, it's at 2 to 3 degrees below average, but that's still a relief as we went from, 10 to 11 degrees above average to a -3 to -4, -5 degree below average. So that's like a 10 to 15 degree change, which is very pleasant, especially at this time of the year. And in the winter time, below average would just mean cold and pleasant, but during the summer, cool weather usually is pretty nice. Now, look at the Northwest. It really starts heating up around this weekend. We start getting temperatures that are as high as 30 degrees above average, which is just a bit ridiculous. But you can see the Midwest really keeping its chill. A lot of chilly weather. Not really cold, but definitely you can see it's expansive. And the Northwest thankfully starts cooling off as well, or at least it's not to the same level as 30 degrees above average. Still warm. And look how expansive this is. It's very minimal. It's maybe 5 to 10 degrees below average at most. And in the East Coast, you can see stays warm. But later on, the pattern breaks. And what happens after that is like the big toss-up. You can see maybe another blast coming through. Maybe another heat wave. We'll have to see. But definitely a bit of a moderation in temperatures for the Midwest and parts of the Northeast, really the inland parts of the Northeast, but the East Coast, coastal areas will stay warm, while the West will also stay warm. So that seems to be the trend. If you were to look at the 6 to 10 day outlook or the 8 to 14 day outlook, they also show a similar trend. Really, the central United States, that's the coolest. Maybe parts of the Northwest and just kind of the Southwest and Northeast staying the warmest. These areas, again, this is the 8 to 14 outlook, so this is even further than that's a bit farther than I would like to forecast out to. But you can see they're showing above average for the north central United States, which if you were to look at a 6 to 10 day outlook, it's more cooler across those locations. It's more below average. And the above averages across the west and the northeast. And you can see it's really standard across the southern U.S. as well. But generally, anyone in the Midwest and upper plains will feel the cool, which is very pleasant. It will be drier though, really not as much precipitation. Maybe parts of Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma area, the Texarkana area, and then into parts of the Mid-Atlantic for a 6 to 10 day and an 8 to 14 day. Again, this is very hard to predict, the precipitation, way harder than the temperature, because it just this is based off just like 1 or 2 storms that may be occurring at this time. And you can see for 8 to 14. It's kind of a weird setup. Drier in the west, a bit warmer by the western Mississippi Valley area, and a bit drier on the eastern half of the Mississippi Valley, and a bit drier across the northeast, and possibly a bit wetter across the Mid-Atlantic. So no really unique defined pattern in terms of the precip, really just mainly the temperatures are going to be more defined. But thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.